We will leave the questions for the second part of the webinar, if that's okay for you.
Yeah.
I would now like to welcome Leopoldo Lima, who is the head of innovation and investment in startups at the hospital, Albert Einstein Hospital in São Paulo. Before joining the innovation team of the hospital, he was head of one of the largest early stage venture capital funds in Brazil, and also a founding member of one of the largest accelerators in the country. Leopoldo, the floor is yours.
Hi, Pedro. Thank you for having me here, and congratulations for the initiative of this panel. Let me share my screen here, just a second, please. Okay, I think you can see it right now.
Yes.
So I promise I won't be long. So before jumping in what we are doing in terms of fighting COVID-19, just to provide you with a brief presentation of what is Albert Einstein Hospital and what we are doing. So basically, we are a non-profit hospital in Brazil. We have over 60 years of history serving the community as a way of giving back the welcoming that the Jewish community had in the Brazilian society. We are not only a hospital, so we have other arms covering the hospital, diagnostic medicine. We have social responsibility arm as well with social initiatives, consulting and management, and teaching and research. We have our own university and research arm. So a few years ago, we started our ARO, so Academic Research Office, which is the first ARO of the country. And finally, the innovation arm, where I work at. So we started working with open innovation maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and finally it's proving that it's working, because we know that open innovation is a long-term game. Some numbers about the hospital. So we have both our private health and public health initiatives. So I can share this presentation with you. I won't be going through any details, every details here. And regarding innovation, we were elected the most innovative hospital of the country for a few times. And finally, last year, we were selected as the fourth main, most innovative company of the country, behind only Embraer, Natura, and Whirlpool. So it's a remarkable goal that we made. And finally, considering all the hospitals in the world, we are among the most innovative hospitals as well. And this open initiative, open innovation initiative that we have is driven by, not only driven, but a great part of it is driven by ERETZ-Bio, which is our incubator. So we started the incubation process in 2017, after we already had a good number of partnership with startups. So we established this place where the startups can work together. We handle small events, some teaching classes for entrepreneurship and something like that. And how do we work with startups? We have several ways of approach with a startup. Since the startup, they say they need some kind of support, let's say, for instance, mentorship with some professional from the hospital or from the market. We have mentorship program with executives, investors, physicians, researchers. We can help them with this connection with potential partners, potential investors. But the most important way that we can help those startups is both with pilot projects inside the hospital, research and technical validation, because we know that when we talk about health tech, not only digital health, medical devices, but mainly for life science business, the validation process is paramount. So we can help them during this validation process, and sometimes even with a publication of these studies stating that the solution works. So that is gold for a startup in health. And we also make some investments. That's not what I'd like to talk here today, but this slide is important because what we can say is that we can support those startups in many different ways and in many different phases as well. So, and one thing that is also important is that maybe 2 years ago, we decided as well to work with foreign startups because we understand that being the main hub of innovation in healthcare in the country allowed us to help those startups outside Brazil that are willing to come to the Brazilian market, so we can help them during the soft landing process. And that is important for Taslim as well, because as he mentioned, India and Brazil, we have some similarities in many different aspects, in many different ways, and we are willing to work with startups from other countries. In fact, we already have partnerships with startups from Israel, from Argentina, United States, Canada, some countries, and we are negotiating partnerships with other startups of other countries as well. So just to let you know some kind of partnership that we have. This slide was from March. So today we have over 60 projects running. So from 6 different countries, as you can see here: Portugal, Canada, United States, Israel. And those partnerships comes from a validation process. They vary from a validation process to co-development. We can also help the startup during the development of the solution, because we have researchers, we have our own lab inside the hospital, so we can help the startup doing the development of the solution, let us say for a new test or a new app, or many kinds of solutions that we can work with them. I think that my slide is okay. So today we have over 40 startups working with the hospital. Again, this slide is from maybe 2 weeks ago, and this number is growing. And what is important here is to understand that we have startups from digital health, medical device, and life science as well. So the thesis here, and I say thesis because I came from the VC market, the thesis here is that we are willing to work with startups that can somehow improve the healthcare system of the country. That is the mission of the hospital. And after that, after we understand that the project of the startup can improve the healthcare system of the country, we also try to understand how can the hospital, not only the hospital, but a research institute, a social responsibility arm, how we can speed up the project or add value to the project. So we have these two criteria here to decide whenever to work with a startup. And when those criteria are met, we can try to make something with the startup. So we have here some examples of startups, and this one is probably people who were reading the news yesterday at night. They knew something about VeriStation. I can share a link here, but they just released yesterday a new test for diagnostic of coronavirus. So it's a very interesting approach that they have. It is validated. Hubox is a startup that is working with us maybe for the last 2 years, and they have this facial recognition algorithm, and very quickly they decided how to change their solution to address an issue related to coronavirus. So they partnered with other startup of our portfolio, which is Hotsquare, and they build a display that goes in the front of hospital or factories or schools, and they can recognize if the person is wearing a mask, and also they put a thermal camera to identify if the people has some fever. So very quickly you can make a triage of the people who is getting into our space. So it is being used inside our hospital and in many other industry and companies of the country right now. And it is interesting because it is something that also Taslin mentioned. It is a partnership between two startups. They make fine tuning in their solutions and their business model, and they build a new startup. It's a spin-off of the startups, you know. Falcom is a medical device startup that can democratize the access to IXM across the country, and very fast they are growing their solution through the country, and they also have orders from outside Brazil to sell the product. Psicologia Viva, a psychologist marketplace that can also provide access to people who are willing to have this kind of solution. And finally, just the last one, as I promised, I won't be long, EPHealth. They built here in Brazil a platform to gather data from health of people. So in Brazil, we have this community agent of health that goes from house to house collecting data of the families. And they built this app that is free, that is for free for those agents. And we have thousands of agents using their app across the country. And now we have over 2 million. This slide is also not updated, but they have over 2 million people data, just real time or few days of delay. So you can provide the government with a real good quality data to make their policies related to health. So those are some few examples of how those startups are working to fight COVID-19. But beside that, the hostel is also working in partnership with other companies, with the government and other startups, of course, to fight the COVID-19. And I truly believe that it's part of our job, and it is time for us to make those partnerships. And what is interesting is that those partnerships are becoming really, they are becoming really faster, you know. So we can see the effects of the implementation maybe in days, maybe weeks, and other times we would see only in months. So now people are understanding that it's time for us to collaborate. So that's it. I'm open here for questions.